Alright, so for our first segment this week, we have questions of the week as usual. So our first question is, what team is the best fit for RG3 and for Colin Kaepernick, and obviously why? So you got teams like the Broncos, the Jets, the 49ers, the Browns, and the Los Angeles Rams, and other teams of that nature. So what do you guys think? You can start first with RG3.
RG3? Okay. For RG3, I think the best fit for him right now is the Los Angeles Rams. And I say so because they have a pretty young offense, and I feel like he could be the, he doesn't have to be the, the center focal point of that offense.
Mm-hmm.
With Todd Gurley, you have a young guy like
Tavon
Austin, that's what I was thinking of. And even Stedman Bailey, if he does come back healthy. And I just feel like he could really do good there, and he could be a part of the young offense. And, he'd add to the part that they're young, but I feel like he'd really have success there. What with offensive line, all the weapons around him, it just hasn't clicked yet for, Case Keenum and Nick Foles last year.
Uh-huh.
I just think that they can be good if they have a quarterback like RG3.
I agree. I think that that he is a starting caliber, like he can start. He's a very good quarterback. He wasn't drafted second overall for no reason, and when he's healthy, he's extremely dangerous. And I feel like he was plagued with injury-plagued receivers and an injury-plagued line as well.
But
when he was with the Redskins, you know what I mean?
Yeah, can I just add though that that offense in Washington, I feel like it was more centered around the fact that they wanted him to run more. If he's in more of a pro-style system, he won't be as plagued by injuries. I feel like, and he definitely can be. I mean, he can still run. I think
dynamic.
He can be.
He could be really, really good. Mm-hmm. Although I don't know if I'd say the Rams are best for him, just because I don't feel like he's like a Peyton Manning. Obviously, he's not, but like a quarterback that could get it done with whoever's around him and make anybody around him better.
That's what I was saying.
So I feel like honestly, the best team for him is either the Broncos or the Jets, because they have weapons and a run game. The Rams have a run game, but the Broncos and Jets also have a pass game to go with the Rams. You know what I mean? To go with RG3.
Yeah, and again, well, first of all, I want to say, isn't it weird saying the Los Angeles Rams now?
Yeah,
it's kind of weird. But also, I just think that a system like the Broncos would be great for him because he will be at a game manager role. Brock Osweiler and Peyton Manning were both in those game manager roles, and they didn't excel, but they still won games because that defense is just so insanely good. He doesn't need to be a superstar. He could just be the guy that gets a touchdown a game, doesn't turn over the ball.
Like a Tyrod Taylor.
Exactly, and he could probably be good in that role. He just can't make mistakes, and that's the problem with him. I just think that's going to be a less. I want to say, not important role. I want pressured role. He's not going to be very pressured to do
with
good.
The Broncos, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and he does have good receivers and weapons around him, and I'm pretty sure he'll do good in that system. It's just a matter of if the Broncos want to sign him.
I just want to add real fast, just adding to what AJ said. I just don't think that he's more of a game manager. I think he needs to be in an offense where he can make plays, because I feel like that's the biggest part.
Well, I think he could. He doesn't. He could be in that role if he doesn't feel comfortable.
Maybe to start out, but then maybe start out. They take it easy on him. Don't expect him to make those kind of plays, but in general, kind of build him up to it. You know what I mean?
Eventually.
Yeah. So the next one, is Colin Kaepernick. So do you think he should stay with the 49ers and they shouldn't trade him? Or, obviously, once again, you got the Broncos, Jets, the Rams, and the Browns.
Well, I don't think that they should trade him because Chip Kelly is going to... He might make him back to where he was when he first started in the NFL. And also, I've read reports that the 49ers aren't looking to trade him because there's just a way too big of an asking price, one. And two, they don't really want to trade him. They don't want to go into the season if they don't get a quarterback with Blaine Gabbert as their quarterback. So... I think that he stays with the 49ers. I'm pretty sure that's their best fit because of Chip Kelly, and it just makes more sense.
Yeah. I think for Colin Kaepernick, I feel like he'd once again be better off with the Broncos or the Jets. Just for his success, I think he'd be better off there. But for Chip Kelly and the 49ers' success, I think that they need to keep him there because Blaine Gabbert, is that who's backing him up right now?
Basically.
So, yeah, I don't know what else they would do with him really, because I feel like they need to keep him because they have nothing. They have nothing left after him. Is really what I was thinking. What do you think?
I definitely agree. I think, like you said, the best fit for the Niners would definitely be Kaepernick, but with their new system. But I think that the best fit for Kaepernick is somewhere where, like the Broncos, where, as you saw with the Niners when he was successful, they had a very good defense and they had a good run game. I feel like that's what the Broncos have right now, and I feel like he could succeed in that kind of system. And the Jets are kind of similar. The Niners, not really. The Browns and Rams, not really. I just feel like the Broncos and Jets, like you said, are the best fit for him, while the Niners, their best fit is Kaepernick.
I agree. Okay, so moving along, the next question is, will Martellus Bennett produce the same, better, or worse than Aaron Hernandez did when he was with the Patriots? AJ, I'll let you go first.
Well, he's obviously going to be in the same role like Scott Chandler and Aaron Hernandez because Gronk is the main focus. Gronk is the guy that's going to get double teamed. He's going to get all the targets. But Aaron Hernandez excelled in a role in the red zone because everyone was doubling Gronk. And when you double Gronk, that leaves a person open, and that was Aaron Hernandez. And also Scott Chandler was a good blocky tight end, but he did get a few touchdowns in there.
If you want, I'll tell you his stats. His best season. His best season was in 2011. He had, in 14 games played, he had 79 receptions, 910 yards, and 7 touchdowns. So he almost had a 1,000-yard season. God only knows what Gronk did that year as well.
He might have been hurt, actually. I might have to look that up, but yeah, I go with
and then, well, yeah, even still, like, when he played 10 games, he still had 51 catches, 400, like, basically 500 yards, 5 touchdowns. So there's definitely red zone targets, like you said. Definitely catches to be had in a PPR. But I feel like, do you draft him, like, for example, would you draft him over a Jimmy Graham?
No, not at all.
Based off of the way Jimmy Graham played last season.
Because Jimmy Graham was going to be a main focal point of that offense when he
But was
back.
he?
I mean,
that was his first year in the system. Though.
Yeah, exactly. And then, I mean, Doug Baldwin's going to get some... So Doug Baldwin and Tyler Lockett, but then Jimmy Graham has the, like, he's the most talented player on that offense, now named Russell Wilson.
I agree, but I feel like Jimmy Graham didn't do anything. I mean, from a fantasy perspective, I guess you got to draft the number 1 tight end. But I feel like Aaron Hernandez, when he had, like, in 2011, when he had that kind of season, you weren't scared to plug him into your lineup. And Martellus Bennett isn't a bad tight end. He might actually be better than Aaron Hernandez, or somewhere up to par. So
I don't know. I would personally take Jimmy Graham over him just because talent-wise and just, like, the better system that he's in.
Now, what would you say, though, going back to the original question, do you think he'll be better, the same, or worse than Aaron Hernandez?
Well, I'll let Jared answer because he hasn't really talked.
I can't really see him being better than Aaron Hernandez. I feel like Aaron Hernandez was more of a receiver-type player rather than just a big body who will, destroy linebackers in one-on-one matchups and just be there for, like, red zone targets. I feel like that's more the type of player that Martellus Bennett is. Like, if you saw his stats last year, it wasn't like you saw with Hernandez. He's not going to have 1,000 yards in a season. He's not going to have... He might have 10 touchdowns with Tom Brady, but I'm just saying it's going to be more of a red zone type role, and it's not going to be more of a receiver type role like you saw with that of Hernandez, which is why I don't think he'll, like, put up the numbers that Hernandez did.
I agree with Jared. I think that it will be, you said the same, right? I think it will be the same also. Maybe a little bit worse because, like, it's just like Gronk is going to get the majority, so.
Yeah, I agree. I think that'll pretty much be a very similar situation, and I think that he'll probably be the same, if not a little bit worse than Aaron Hernandez.
Definitely.
All right, for our final question, were you going to say so?
I just agreed with you.
So for our final question, we have, as of right now, who are 2 teams in the AFC and NFC that you believe have the highest chance of getting to the Super Bowl as of right now? Pre-draft, pre-injury, pre-everything.
Right now, the best team...
Let's start with the AFC. 2 teams from the AFC.
The best team in the AFC is got to be... I don't know. I would say, like, one of the best teams is probably the Jaguars right now because we haven't seen them played. I mean, it's kind of hard to see. It's hard to hear that, but it's just like they have, like, a little bit more talent. I think they're going to be good, but... it seems silly, but it's every year, every time. It's going to be the Patriots in that mix. They've been to the last 7 or 8 AFC Championship games.
Yeah, I don't know how the Patriots are the best.
So, it doesn't matter who's on that team. They could have a guy, homeless guy on the street, play wide receiver. He'll get 1,000 yards. It's insane what Bill Belichick and Tom Brady do with the players on the roster that they have, and they just constantly win. It's insane.
So you have Jaguars and Patriots?
I don't know about the Jaguars because, they're not, I don't know if they're ready, I think they're, looking on paper, the roster is one of the best in the AFC. You gotta agree with that. But I don't know if they're ready to become one of the best teams. I think it's gonna be maybe the Broncos if they get their quarterback situation up and running, and the Patriots like last year.
I think it's going to be the Patriots, and for obvious reasons, but maybe might come as a surprise team is the Chiefs. I think
do like the Chiefs.
I love the Chiefs because if Jamal Charles could stay healthy, what's a scary thought is his line got better. His line didn't get worse. He's already phenomenal. He got Mitchell Schwartz, the right tackle from the Browns, who was ranked very, very high by Pro Football Focus
number
or
1
something.
rated tackle.
Yeah, and then there was also
Rodney Hudson, Eric Fisher,
and they just have a phenomenal line. And Travis Kelce's coming off a big deal. Jamal Charles is going to want to get back and get better, so they're going to have a phenomenal run game. And even if he goes down, it's not like they really lose much in
Spencer Ware, Charkandrick West. It's insane.
And Niles Davis. So they're so deep at running back. Alex Smith always seems to get it done, and their defense is phenomenal.
I would say so, but I think they need another wide receiver.
It's not even like Alex Smith throws it to them, so it doesn't even matter.
Exactly. He doesn't throw. He doesn't.
But Jeremy Maclin, I think, gets it done for somebody that doesn't really get the ball that much. What are you going to say, yeah?
I was thinking a team that you guys are definitely forgetting about is the Steelers. I feel like they're going to be... I think that if it's not the Patriots, it's definitely going to be the Steelers in there for the AFC. But, that's really self-explanatory. You got a rising defense, they're getting better. Then you have Big Ben, you have Le'Veon Bell healthy and not in trouble. And you have... Antonio Brown, which obviously the best receiver in the league. The only problem is that the dynamic receiver opposite him, Martavis Bryant, is in trouble, unlike Le'Veon Bell.
That was the only reason why I didn't go with the Steelers, is because, one, I think the Chiefs' defense is better.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
But two is, we didn't get to say this in our previous free agency, which we'll be talking about later on, is Martavis Bryant I believe he is now. It's official, suspended for a year. Yeah, he accepted it. The only thing that's probably going to save them, maybe, is Ladarius Green being signed, which could maybe, because he's more of a receiving tight end, and maybe could somehow pick up for Martavis Bryant. And then, what's his name? Marcus Wheaton. You got to see how Marcus Wheaton does.
And Darius Hayward-Bay, he'll sign to the 3.
There's a lot of weapons on offense. It's just the defense that's the concern for the Steelers.
Exactly. All right, so that about wraps up.
Oh, we didn't do the NFC yet.
Oh, damn. Oh, boy. All right. So we got the NFC. So what do you got for the NFC?
My opinion for the NFC is I think that the Packers make a comeback. I think that because the Seahawks, I don't know if they're going to be the same team. They lost a lot of guys on defense. And they lost a couple of their, O-linemen. So we have to see. And their O-line was already bad. So I think that the Packers can make a comeback and get right back on track to where they were, because Jordy Nelson's coming back. Then you have that 3-headed receiving monster in Devontae Adams, Randall Cobb, and Jordy Nelson. So my pick is the NFC is the Packers.
I'm gonna say I agree with AJ. The Packers, very good team, and then I'm gonna also go with the Panthers, who were in the Super Bowl last year, because if you think about it, they're not really getting any worse. They're definitely getting better. With they get Kelvin Benjamin back, and they get. Just another year of experience, a year of Josh Norman being
improving.
Yeah, I just think it's those two. If anyone.
I agree, and I agree with both of you. I think it'll be the Panthers or the Packers mixed with the Cardinals. They made a lot of moves in free agency. I think a lot of moves to put them over the edge to finally get to the Super Bowl, and I think that is what's really going to do it for them this year. So finally, that about wraps it up for questions of the week, and. We're moving on to trivia questions.
Yep.